Good afternoon, Facebook family. This is me, Jason Gregory, coming at you again from the UK with another midday mindset. And I hope you guys had a really good weekend. Hope you guys are fully rested, ready for a new week of value, ready for a new week of development, ready for a new week of moving towards your goals. And so as you come on, please let me know where you're dialing in from, whether or not you're from the UK, the US, from Australia, wherever you're dialing in from. Just give me a quick heart, a quick like, a quick comment. Let me know where you're from. It's always good to know. But guys, what I'm going to do today and for the rest of this week is I'm going to continue to talk on the theme of just preparing ourselves for coming into the new year. We're coming to the end of 2016, so we're getting into that new year, and we just want to make sure that we've got that mindset right, all those foundational principles are in place, so when we go into 2017 we can hit the ground running. And so the topic that I'm talking about today is basically knowing your work versus your job. So your work versus your job, and there is a massive difference between the two. And you'll be amazed on how many people don't actually know the difference. Hey Sheikh, good to see you on. All you guys, just come on, send me a quick like and a heart. Give me some love so I know that you guys are on. But guys, when we're talking about work and job, they're two completely different things. So let me kind of get into the difference between the two. Basically, your job is where you pay your bills. So it's the vehicle that you're using to pay your bills, yeah? Whereas your work is what you're doing to fulfill your destiny. You see, there's a big difference between the two. And so many people are just focusing on their job and not realizing that there's something bigger for them to do, which is called their work. You see, you have to be passionate about something. Ask yourself the question, what is it that you're passionate about? What is it that you really want to strive towards? And what is it that is pushing you forward all the time and you're constantly thinking about it? That's a passion of yours given to you for a reason. You see, the passion isn't there just to be there to take up space inside of you. The passion is there because it's something that's woven inside of you, because there's something that you need to fulfill. That means if there's something that you need to fulfill, you need to walk towards it. That's called your work. Yeah? And a lot of times all what people are doing is people are just paying their bills, but they're not fulfilling their destiny. Yeah? And what you have to understand is that and while you're getting into your work, what's happening is you're doing a job, and your job is preparing you for your work. If you ever think about it. So maybe you're in a job where you have to deal with people, maybe you're in a job where you have to be organized, or maybe do something else. What that job is actually doing, it's preparing you so that you can have the skills and you can have all the things that you need. So when you move into your work, you can really move forward and enhance it in an amazing way. Why is it that there's some people, they started off maybe in an accountancy firm, and then they ended up running their own accountancy firm? Or maybe they started in some kind of manufacturing job and ended up running their own manufacturing firm. It's because there's some people, they are happy to stay in a job and that's all they want to do. But there's other people, they have some bigger destiny inside of them, and they move from their job and they transition into their work. That's why an entrepreneur is somebody who goes after their work, not just after a job. And you'll know whether or not you're entrepreneurial in your mindset or not, because when you're sitting in a job, you're thinking to yourself, while you're in that job, I could be doing something more productive for myself. Or what is it that I could be doing to develop myself rather than just building up this company? It's because you're wired differently. There's something inside of you that is going to cause you to move after your destiny and not just your job. You see, your job is basically just you looking for money or searching for money. Whereas your work is basically you fulfilling something and money finding you. There's a big difference between the two. And so if you're after your work, after your passion, then it has to be something true to what you are about. Because if all what you're doing is doing something simply because of money, you will never ever find fulfillment in that. You see, money is only a vehicle to get things done, but you need fulfillment because you were designed for a purpose. There's something for you to fulfill, and the only way you're going to really hit that basic goal of your life is by going after your passion, going after your work. and not just going after money. Yeah, you see, there's a quote from a gentleman called Miles Monroe. I personally think he's one of the most powerful motivational leadership trainers I've ever listened to be quite honest. But one of the things he says is so true. He said, you can get fired from your job, but you can never get fired from your work. You see, your work is what you're about. What do you have a passion for helping people? Do you have a passion for seeing things develop? Do you have a passion for intricate detail in getting things done? What is your passion? Because that is really going to scope out where your work is going to be. Like, I remember when I was in the corporate world, one of the things that I would, as when I was getting in there on a Monday morning, I'd be looking at the clock and I'd be thinking, there's something more I can do. And that's when I knew that a normal 9-to-5 job was not something really that was woven into me. I needed to do something else. And so I decided to come out of corporate and come into the home-based business industry, because I needed that. Because you see, when you're an entrepreneur in a job, it's a little bit like a lion being in a circus or in a cage. You see, the lion is supposed to be prowling around the savannah, prowling around the jungle, hunting. It's not supposed to be in a cage. It's not supposed to be in a circus. And when you restrict a lion in the environment of a circus, it cannot reach its true potential. And that's where a lot of people are who are entrepreneurial in their mindset. They feel like they're stuck in a cage and they need to come out of that. That's because they're not fulfilling their work. They're just doing their job. And that's why when I'm looking for people in what I'm doing, you have to be looking for people who understand the difference between job and work. Because Napoleon Hill, he wrote the book, I've quoted it a couple of times, it's Think and Grow Rich. He says, if you want to be rich, you need to learn how to serve other people. It's a very famous quote, and it's one that really resonates with people who have a passion for serving others. But one of the reasons why I personally think when people join the industry that I'm in, and the industry that I'm in is network marketing. But one of the reasons why I feel people are not successful when they join that industry or our industry is simply because they are treating it like a job and not work. In other words, their passion is not really to help people. Their passion is just money. But when I look at people who are top income earners in my industry, the common denominator is this: they don't run after money. Their money is not their main driver, but their main driver is serving others. And so they understand the difference between work and job. And so the biggest source of frustration, I think, for a person is when they're not fulfilling what they should be doing. That's why you speak to the average person and the worst time of the week is a Monday morning, because they've got work the whole week. Yeah, the best time of the week is a Friday afternoon, because they've got the weekend to look forward to. And then the most depressing time of the week is a Sunday evening, because they've got work on Monday morning. And they know they have to do that week in and week out, year in and year out. And because they're not fulfilling their work, they're just paying their bills through a job, they feel frustrated. But yet there's people that will take that frustration and they will do something with it. They will say, okay, I understand that I still need to pay my bills, but I need to do something else. I need to build something alongside of what I'm doing so that I can transition from my job into my work. And there's people that step out and do that, where there's other people that just stay in their job. Only you know where you are today. But you see, 2017 should be a year of discovery. What is it that you are passionate about? What is it that you can really get behind with a strong conviction? That is going to cause you to start moving in your work. Yeah? Because I tell you now, if you move in your work, number one, you're going to be more productive. Why? Because you love what you're doing. There's a true passion there. But number two, you'll be surprised, because you're moving in your work. Instead of you worrying about money, as you're moving in your work, the money will begin to find you. It's amazing how that works. So stop struggling in your job, yeah, and find your work. It's as simple as that. Yeah. 2017, like I said, it can be a very good year for you if you do the right things. However, if you continue to do the things you've always done, expecting the different results, then coming towards the end of 2017, nothing would have changed from where you are today. You have to do something different. So how do you do that? Well, number one, you need to make a decision to start thinking outside of the box. Yeah, start thinking outside of the box a little bit. Stop buying into what society has told us from a very early age, that the only way you can earn an income is by trading your time for somebody else's money. Stop thinking like that. That's called linear thinking. But what you need to do is you need to start thinking outside of the box and start looking at residual thinking. Because residual thinking is this: you build it once, it pays you for the rest of your life. That's why Michael Jackson last year was voted as the #1, the top earning dead celebrity. Last year he earned $670 million and he's dead. This because he was not confined to the structure of just linear thinking. He was an artist who produced things and that played over and over again and created residual income for himself. So we have to start thinking outside of the box in order to start getting different results. Because if you don't think outside of the box, that box will restrict you every single time. You have to be ready to make a decision. So many people get introduced to things all the time, and they're so busy looking for the perfect situation, the perfect environment, the perfect timing, that they never make a decision. Yeah, and their lack of indecision is the thing that keeps them stuck in their current situation. And then what happens is life comes in, starts to beat them up again. So all they do is focus on their job. They forget about their work and they focus on their job. Yeah, and so that's when that person continues to move forward, focusing on their job, and then hoping that when they retire at the age 40, 50, 60, or wherever they're going to have to retire, they're going to have enough put away to deal with their retirement. But unfortunately, a lot of people, what happens is they get to the retirement age, they realize they can't actually survive on their pension, and then they have to get a part-time job to supplement their pension. So even in their pension years, they're still not operating in their work, they're still dealing with a job. Yeah, but this time it's a part-time job to supplement whatever pension that they have. Guys, life does not have to be like that if we put the right things in place, if we think differently, if we start focusing on the things that we need to focus and put our energies in the right place now, then you'll be amazed on how things can change 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line. Guys, it's all about you guys. It's all about what it is that you want to achieve. Are you being fulfilled today? Is what you're doing fulfilling you? If it's not fulfilling you, then you know that what you're doing is not your work. Yeah, it's as simple as that. So make sure that you get fulfillment. We've been speaking about over the weeks leading up to this point about the untapped, unlimited potential inside of you. So think about it. If there's unlimited potential inside of you, why are you limiting yourself simply because you're not operating in your work and you're just dealing with a job? You see, so many people, what they do is they define themselves by their job instead of their work. Yeah, your definition of yourself should not come from your job, because what happens if that company gets rid of you? That's why you see sometimes when people lose their job and they just go crazy. They don't know what to do. Why? Because they define themselves by that position. The company said that you was a manager or a team leader or this and that, and you defined yourself by that thing. And then when the economy changed or recession hit, and then they had to get rid of their resources, and you were one of the people that got lost, then you didn't know what to do. But just imagine, if you would have had your definition in your work and not in your job, it wouldn't have mattered if they got rid of you, because your work is always going to be the thing that's going to push you forward. So understand the difference between the two, guys, because if you understand the difference between the two, then your life will not be the same. You will look at things completely different. You will look at people completely different. Yeah. I personally, in 2017, am looking for people who know the difference. I'm looking for people who really want to change their life, because as a facilitator, I can help somebody get into their work if what their work is, in other words, what their passion is, falls in line with what I do. Obviously, if it doesn't fall in line with what I do, then that person finds their work somewhere else. But the most important thing is they find their work. So what is it that you're doing, guys? Or what is it that you're not doing, that is causing you to be where you are today? Let's get this right. Let's start thinking different. Let's make sure 2017 is our year. Let's make sure that nothing will stand in our way. Let's make sure that no obstacle will be so good that it takes our eyes off our end goal. And the only way that will happen is when you operate in your work and you know what your end goal is, and you know that this is the thing. When you're dealing with your work, if you are not in the place where you want to be right now, but you've seen where you're going, you've seen what the end result is going to be. Because if you're operating in your work, you're like a visionary, and a visionary sees the things that is there before they get there. So if you're operating in your vision and you've seen you there before you got there, but you're not there right now, it just means you're in a transitional period of your life, a season that will get you there. You see, if you didn't see yourself there as a visionary, it was never there in the first place. But if you do see yourself there as a visionary, then all what it means is you're in a period of time to get you from where you are now to where you need to be. So don't let this govern you. Don't let the physical eyes govern you. Walk by faith and not by sight. Because if you walk by faith, you'll always see yourself there, and you'll always do the things necessary to get there. Whereas if you walk by sight, you're going to be so intimidated by your initial situation or your immediate situation, then that's the only thing that's going to govern you. And then before you know it, fear kicks in, because you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is where I am now. How am I going to get out of this? And then when fear kicks in, you then start retreating back into that dark room that develops all of your negatives. And when you go into that dark room and you start developing those negatives, then all of a sudden the only thing you will ever think of is, what can I do to find money? What job can I do? And you will never ever fulfill your work. So guys, for those of you who want to change, if you're fulfilling your work at the moment, continue to do it. If you're fulfilling your work at the moment, continue to push forward, inspire people, because through you, through the inspiration of you, people will then be motivated to go after their own work. So if you're already doing that, my hat off to you, continue to do that. If you're not doing that, if you're stuck in a job and you want to find your work, if you have a passion for helping other people, if you have a desire, a strong desire for changing your life financially, then PM me and I'll tell you what it is that I do, because it may be that what I do falls in line with what your core values are, and then it falls in line with your work. So if you're not doing that, PM me and we can have a chat. But if you are fulfilling it, you continue to do that, guys, because your life is so precious. Your life is designed for a reason, and that reason was for you to fulfill your destiny, and your work is caught up in your destiny. So never forget that. So I'm going to continue on these lines throughout this week, because this is all about laying the foundations to get into 2017. Hopefully this made sense to you. If it did make sense to you, let me know in the comments. If you're fulfilling your work, put work in the comments. If you're just stuck in your job, put job in the comments, and then just identify where you are, because once you identify where you are, you're then going to be in a position to move forward. So hopefully this made sense to you guys, and tune back in tomorrow, because there's another topic that I think is going to be really relevant for you to help you to position yourself so you can have a very, very strong 2017. So take care, have a great day, and I will speak to you tomorrow. God bless. Bye-bye.